What are teens today not ready to hearing I'm fine, I'm just tired from a close friend on a regular basis. The voices in my head do. Me. Most people on the internet. The sad part is when I have been at my worst, there was nothing screaming out signs to others. All my energy was put into not letting anyone know and acting normal. I think a lot of others are probably in the same boat. Some say that depression is like overwhelming sadness, and for some it does seem like that. More than anything, I think of depression as less feeling sad, but more feeling numb. Empty. Suicidal ideation is when I know there's trouble. Imagining driving into a concrete wall on the freeway daily after work, but then realizing I wouldn't be lucky enough to die and would end up severely injured and probably with a DUI from all the THC in my system, so instead I go home to bed. Me, constantly. Chronic severe depression doesn't go away. It's chronic. As such, the occasional or frequent thoughts. Shopping at Hot Topic. A Tumblr user. This post. Pulling away from anyone you love and closing yourself off from anyone who could ever love you for fear that A, you are a burden, B, if you do kill yourself it will hurt them, C, you don't add anything to their lives so you might as well not waste their time, and D, they don't like you anyway. All I ever do now is sit on YouTube, avoid my friends, and nap. Then do the exact same thing the next day and I have no idea how to stop being depressed. Stubbornness. I decided. Weight gain. Sleeping after waking up. Napping after sleeping. Sleeping after napping. Not wanting to get up because you're still so tired. For a lot of people, it's kindness and an inability to say no, even if you really don't want to do it. I think it's either to make sure others don't feel as bad as you, or to make them hate me less. I've always struggled with thinking everyone else hates me, but is playing nice because they feel bad for me. Then I get into a loop of thinking that, then hating myself even more for antagonizing someone else, because clearly I'm a worse person than anybody I've ever met and I should be ashamed for putting myself above anyone else. Sorry if I made any weird grammar errors, I'm very tired. Cold-like symptoms that only last a few hours or maybe a middle schooler. You don't want to wake up after having sleep. Definitely not the depressed person. So thanks for the answers. No, I'm just tired. You've only been awake for 5 hours, yeah. Heavy drinking along with constant self-depreciating / suicide humor is a modern cry for help. Now hold my beer while I clean this shotgun. A bad day and no one who cares about you but to one person you kinda know. Crying. Being okay with dying. Having a cartoony personality and then just sorta turning it off. Me. I scream, I'm depressed. All the time. You listen to Sad by XXXTentacion and Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD. Then when your head is throbbing from the constant full blast music, you listen to some sad Bart Simpson edits. And to tie it all together, post to NBA YoungBoy quote about how relationships aren't for you. Edit, before I get hate if this is seen, it is a joke. Please don't take it seriously. Being happy to find a 3-leaf clover when one is constantly denying invitations to hang out when you have no doubt that you have a great relationship with that person. That's a pretty big sign that gets overlooked. ITT. Lots of people who are actually depressed and just starting to realize it. I haven't had a suicidal low in years, but I was in a really bad place for most of high school and the first part of college. Weirdly, by the time I graduated college it just kinda faded. I've never been formally diagnosed. I probably had or have some mild form of sleeping for 15 hours only to wake up extremely tired still. Sleeping too much and not sleeping enough. Always tired, but feeling like there's no way to change that. You have a lead weight on your soul. When even your dog doesn't cheer you up. Would rather continue laying in bed than to get up and feed yourself, all because you feel too tired to get up. Even though you've been laying down for most of the day. Not getting out of bed when you have nothing going on that day. A natural reaction seems to be for the body and mind to want rest. In my opinion, sleep and dreams are a way to exercise one's infinite creativity. feeling like you're moving or talking in slow motion. Any house with inspirational quotes on all the walls. Like live, laugh, love screams, Xanax, wine, crying. Existence is overrated. When you can't picture yourself being happy. Having no urge to wake up in the morning. Screaming I'm depressed. 2 breaths. If you can take 2 breaths, you can. Forgetting simple things, like washing the dishes, hanging out with friends, cancelling at the last minute to sleep. I do some time out of ordinary. I am one of those adrenaline junkies. About an hour. Taking a chair into the shower. Sleeping constantly. Not having the willpower to take of basic, routine hygiene. I constantly wind up skipping showers / brushing teeth due to this, and it makes me feel worse about myself. Cancelling plans that you once were really excited for because you can't get out of bed. I pulled the trigger and the old Russian round I had in the chamber me on the inside when the idea of making yourself a sandwich is overwhelming. A lot of dirty dishes in the sink. Not being able to leave the house. Not showering. Crying yourself to sleep every night. A teenage girl. Sleeping a lot. Like, sleeping a lot. Can't get out of bed kinda sleep. Having only experienced a sliver of depression during my medical trials and tribulations, I can honestly say I never want to be in that mindset again. Though it was chemically induced, and therefore easier for me to see a way out if it was still a terrifying experience. For me it was abstract, like everything in the world was duller, colors weren't as vibrant, food stopped being fulfilling and just a necessity, music never hit the notes that pleased me, things I enjoyed doing ceased to bring joy. I honestly struggled to find a reason to even wake up. I woke up and thought about what I was going to do, and I could see no point in doing anything since it gave me no sense of purpose, joy or accomplishment. Before this happened to me, I always thought being depressed simply meant that you were extra sad. But no, it is the absolute lack of emotion, the feeling of pointlessly existing. I could be angry, sad or happy, but it did not change the way I felt inside. Those emotions was like a facade, a built-in reflex. Why was I angry? It did not matter anyway. Why was I happy? It wouldn't change anything. Sad? No. Not really. Despair, futility and existential crisis would fit better. Why live when there was nothing that had any impact? Nothing that changed the way you felt? I was so scared of this feeling that I contacted my doctor and got weaned of those drugs right away. It was the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. I used to be a high-functioning major depressive. I worked for 3 years in the media industry. I had a falling out with my best friend at work, and for the past year, our relationship became a bit rocky. It affected my career, and not to mention I had other problems, so it wasn't really a great time in the office. My anxiety worsened and I would get panic attacks in the office and even during media events. Suffice to say, I quit my job and I'm currently unemployed. I just realized that for the last 5 months I spent being miserable at work. I kinda was the textbook definition of depressed. I would come late to work, like 3 to 4 hours late, some days I won't come in at all. I didn't text my workmates or the HR about my plans for the day. Sometimes I go to work without having showered or brushed my teeth. I shaved my head cause my hair was becoming too messy. I wouldn't eat, then the next day would overeat. I'd walk out of the office in the middle of the day just to wander out of the city. Also, I would get irritable at times at work, then get insomnia at home, which is also the reason why I couldn't come to work on time anymore. Being unable to clean up after yourself. Can't clean the dishes or get the laundry put away. The mess grows, which makes you feel even more depressed. But you feel you can't fix it. You can't feel anything mostly, and you just don't want to do anything. Inability to be excited. Momentarily getting excited/happy still can happen. But the true bubbling up inside you joyous excitement at something happening, something going to happen, at an accomplishment, or a new thing, doesn't happen. Especially something that you know should get you excited.